everyone, this is Carolina. Today I'm going to show you how to make this cone holder, which is actually another treat holder for Halloween. I started off with a 5x5 square, and this is actually an AccuCut die, which I love because it has, the sides here that are scalloped, which are great for the top and for the side, and then the flat edge, which actually gets tucked inside and you don't really notice it. Plus it has two holes already in there or punched through so that you can attach your handle. So love that. And before you start the shape, you kind of just want to roll it one way and then flip your paper and roll it the other way. The reason I do this is so you have more flexibility. It kind of breaks down the fibers or something, I guess, but I just found it a little bit easier to work with. And before I add any kind of glue or tape to this, I kind of just like to form my shape. So again, it just makes it a little bit easier. So when I go ahead and actually add the tape, it'll be easier to put together. And always making sure that the holes in the back are in the back and not coming forward at all. So that looks pretty good. Let me put it down, and I'm going to go ahead and add some tape. Actually, I'm going to put it down on this flat edge that's going to go inside the cone instead of on the scallop edge, which I will show you what I do with that in a little bit. So just go ahead and place some double-sided tape all the way down and cut it right before it hits the scallop, as such. And then go ahead and remove it, and then we're going to go ahead and form the cone again. This is a little bit tricky just because it's still kind of hard, the paper is, but what I do is kind of gently lay it down, pinching as I kind of go and trying to get some kind of adherence to it, but then fix it while I have it straight up, and then I really go in it and bring those sides together more firmly by just as I'm going here and putting my hand inside and then just pressing in. Now to hold that edge that's sticking out, I'm using liquid adhesive. The reason for this is because I'll let it dry while I'm doing the other decorations for it, but it just holds a little tighter. Since we already have the tape inside, this gives it a little chance for it to have those scallops show off a little more. And then just use a clothespin to kind of hold it together while I'm working on the other stuff. Now we're going to work on this fan flower. Beata had a cool little video on it, a video tutorial, so I decided to try it out, and it was quite easy to do. Started off with a 1" by 11" strip of cardstock, and what I'm going to do, I zoomed in here so I can show you. I'm going to go ahead and just set it on my score pal and then just score every ½ inch from the beginning all the way through the end. And that way I'll end up with similar to this, a strip that you're going to just go ahead and fold at every scored edge into an accordion type fold, as you're seeing me do here. And the reason for this is it'll give you that fan fold flower that you saw previously, at least a base for it. And once you're done, just kind of hold it down so you can get a crisper fold on all those edges you just did, and you're going to add a little bit of adhesive to that little tab, and that tab is going to be adhered to the other end so that you basically create a circle type of thing. I would say the hardest part of this project is trying to zoom all those edges in together so that you end up with a flat flower looking thing, and the only thing I can say to you is just practice. It'll take a little bit of practice, but eventually you'll get the hang of it. Never happens the first time. I kind of did it a couple times before I even shot the video just to get used to it. But basically you'll hold it on either end and just bring it in as such, and then you'll end up with something like this. Then what you want to do is cut out 2 circles. I cut out 1 1/4 circle out of cardstock and 1 out of double-sided tape, adhere them together, and then adhere that to the flower fan here, or to the fan flower. And then I'm going through and just kind of crisping those edges a little bit more. Turn it over, and this is going to become your front. It has a cleaner look to it, and I like it a little bit better. I also went ahead and punched out a 1 1/4" circle out of glitter cardstock, and that's what you're seeing here. And with this side, since the other side's already adhering the whole flour together. You don't need to put it on the whole circle. I just went ahead and put a strip down and then adhere that to the flour. And then on top, I wanted to add a little sentiment and added a glue pop dot. And it's actually from Stampin' Up's Wicked Cool set, which is a really fun set. Punched it out with a Martha Stewart scallop punch and then placed it in the middle. And with that, you're done with your sentiment. Now we're going to go ahead and move back onto the cone. It's pretty dry at this point. I would let it dry a little more, but for video purposes, I'm going to go ahead and just start manipulating it so it lays a little flatter. Unlike other cones, I wanted this one to close instead of having an open cone. So that's why I'm kind of just going through, not pressing down firmly, but just enough to give it that shape. And the reason for this is because I'm going to work on the handle first, but at least I start making it have that shape where you're seeing it as I'm doing it right here. And that way it starts to get used to being flatter instead of a rounder cone. So go ahead and take some ribbon and bring it to a point, since it has to go through those holes. And they're not very large, but large enough that we can fit some ribbon through. Once you push it through, knot it, trim it, and then you're going to do the exact same thing to the other side. And this is what's going to become your little handle. So once you're done with that, it's going to be the handle that you'll use to hang your cone if you'd like. And now we're going to go back and work on the closure. I decided to use Velcro because I wanted it to open and close. And with Velcro, what I like to do is put both pieces together. And since they already have a sticky side to them, it's easier to just take out one side first, set it on your project, remove the other side, and bring it down onto your project, as I'll show you in a second. So now I'm removing it here, and then just going to bring it down for the closure, so you know exactly. And this one, you're not guessing where the other piece needs to go. You have exact alignment every time. When you open it the first time, make sure you hold both pieces of Velcro down onto their side so that it opens easier and it has a firmer adherence to whatever side they're supposed to be on. Now we're going to work on adhering the embellishment we just did a little few minutes ago. I use liquid adhesive because this way I can manipulate exactly where that's going to fit. For right now, I'm kind of eyeballing it, but I really won't know until I lay it down onto the top. As you'll notice here, see, it's a little off, so now I can kind of shift it a little bit. And with that, you're done. It's ready to be filled with candy or any other goodies you'd like. If you would like the exact same kit I used here, you can find it on the site listed below. And I hope you have fun making these. Happy Halloween!